Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru. Hello, hello, hello.
And we got some new faces today as we fought on Bob War, but Rang, tell us about it. Who are we today?
Well, on the left-hand side in blue, we have the not so often seen 25th Panzer Grenadier being played by Evilnick, number 8, with balanced income. And on the right-hand side, we have Finzent playing the 1st Polish, I believe it's like rifle division, and they have a Vanguard income.
They certainly do. Now, like you were having some issues there, so tell us about the polls.
The pose it's not a super interesting division, frankly, as it's essentially just a Russian like rifle division, as it has a lot of pretty much Russian style infantry, but with Polish names, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and a bunch of light vehicle like tanks such as T-70s and T-34 76s. Not many AT guns, pretty decent artillery and air power, just still pretty standard T-34 spam and like rifle spam play. They do have some pretty good infantry options.
Indeed. Now, matching up against the 25th over here, as we get started, what's the matchup going to be like?
It's a pretty good map to play the pose, as it's pretty close quarters, so getting in all those T-34s and light T-70 tanks is going to be definitely beneficial. Where with Evilnick, he's probably want to play more long range with the Stugs and Martyrs that he has. But both are pretty decent infantry. It's going to be Panzer Grenadier versus Polish rifleman, or Streltsky, which yeah.
Sounds about right. But in the meantime, let's see. So the polls are developing up to the north, looks like pretty regularly. And we're actually going to see a rather plucky martyr kind of setting up on that far hill on the left-hand side. That's actually some really, really great real estate to be sitting down.
Yeah, it's a pretty good spot. You know, he definitely could have used a bit more infantry in hindsight, as that one mod is not going to be enough to really deal with the infantry. It probably would be better if he had, like, does he have infantry support guns? No, he doesn't have really any
No,
on the
there's
field.
one down to the
Oh,
south.
there's one down south, one
yeah.
IT-33. But he could definitely use some infantry fire support up north for this upcoming storm.
Indeed. Now, I have to get used to all these titles for everything, like
I
the
know.
Ognomachiki wannabes with the
I know.
Neopatra Ojnia. I'm destroying the entire culture already, so forgive me.
Yeah, it's just weird names, gonna take us a little bit to get used to, but it's a pretty good push here from Vincent. I mean, the support gun's doing a great job, and he's unloading, it isn't called by the Russian name, like the tank Desanitskis and some Strojki DP squads yet.
Very true, and what's more, I mean, he does have the light support from the half-tracks right there. And that martyr, while in a decent position, cannot see, about 300 meters coming off of that bridge, so those two squads are by themselves.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good spot, because those Strojki units, do they have... I think they do have AT rifles, one or two of them.
One's got Panzerfaust, one's got
yeah.
the PTRDs.
Yeah, the PTRD squad can just rush up and knock out Marder 2. Evilnick is going to be bringing up some Panzer Grenadiers to help deal with this, and Finzent bringing up some BA-10 light armored cars of his own.
No, just a bit of a fight that happened in the forest just to the south that you can see it developing in a mini map right now. Outside of that, though, wow, actually I didn't even notice they had the the M42. I'm not going to constantly do that. The M42 has already completely and totally basically whooped a Stug G. Which does tend to be a bit of the problem with the 25th, is that they tend to be a little bit light on what they actually need to kind of stick in for longer than a couple of minutes.
Yeah, because you're really relying more on, like, you know, Stugs and Martyrs, which are good tanks, but in close counters engagements like this, it's much better to have lighter, cheaper tanks and vehicles that you can really spam. And also his Panzer Grenadiers, he doesn't have Panzerfaust on him, so he's going to have a little bit of a hard time against all this army that Finzent is just bringing up.
That's true. Meanwhile, though, the Martyr is getting himself back into the fight, and he does take out one of the T-70s, but that guy was pretty damaged in the first place, so that sucks, but not too bad. It looks like this northern town fight, other than this MB410 coming in, might be arrested?
Yeah, he's holding them. The Panzer Grenadiers are holding, but not for too long, it seems. He could definitely use probably some artillery up north. Oh! The Josh troop coming in and just pretty much mopping up everything, pinning them all down, but he has no answer. to his armoured problem of his M3s and T70s. So that's really the thorn on his side.
That is certainly going to be the case for quite a while, and unfortunately for him, the Martyr continues to be in a very poor... Oh, no, wait, never mind. He sees the half-tracks. There we go.
There we go. That's seems like Evilnick is going to be able to stop his person. I was really thinking Finzent was just going to go home. I mean, just push all the way home with the momentum going. So really good job here from Nick.
Don't count that out just yet. We do actually have 4 more T-70s as well as a
Oh boy.
recon T-34 coming in.
Oh yeah, it's quite a bit of armor. Finzent really just banking all his forces up north, but it is still trove. It's Evilnick has barely lost any points in terms of game score, so he still has a pretty good shot. And as well, he's going to be doing much better late game with his balanced income.
That is certainly going to be the case. Looking down to the south, not a whole lot really going on. I imagine both guys are going to get themselves sucked up to the north, and why wouldn't you? This mound controls, I don't know, would you say about 3 or 4 kilometers of the map?
Yeah, it's pretty big area, and also with how Bobble usually plays, a lot of people would just like to push one side and try to break at Bridgehead, so to speak. So it makes sense that Finzent is just trying everything he can, throwing all the tanks in the kitchen sink just to try to secure this one bridgehead. Because once you secure one bridgehead, it's pretty easy to maneuver around the rest of the map.
Certainly is going to be the case, and it looks like with the death of that martyr, yes, we do have a Strug and an SPW moving in. Well, at long last, as an IG-33, so that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's a nice thing with 25th. I forgot you got like some pretty good like armored recon options such as 231s and autocannon vehicles, and you can never really go wrong with autocannon vehicles, especially on a map like this.
No, what you can't go wrong with, though, is focusing too much on one side of the map, and Evilnick might be falling into that as we have a couple of T-34s rushing across the river to the south.
Oh boy. Yeah, making a little bit of a bridgehead, yeah. Once again, he lacks any AT coverage on that spot, so the T-34s are just going to be able to sit around willy-nilly, and the Streltsky are just going to slowly start shooting everything that moves.
Indeed.
I think it's a little bit of a mistake keeping all his infantry that bunched up in that, like those 2 Panzer Grenadiers and the Stars Troop. Probably should have spread them out a little bit.
Kind of reminds you of like putting a couple of T-34s next to each other, like a couple IS-2s maybe when a JU comes in.
Then a cluster bomber come,
yeah.
Just where did they go? Who knows?
Who does stuff like that? God.
I know.
To the north, we do have the BA-10s are trying to go mono e doso or trio with that Strug, and I don't think this is going to be something that you want to be doing.
Yeah, this is just an absolute crazy fight here. I think the T-70 is just going to get enough critical hits and suppression on that Stug to knock it out. Yep.
Honestly, I thought they were firing machine guns at them, considering how many different anti-tank rounds are going through.
Yeah, the Polish Rifle Division that he had, it isn't anything spectacular. It don't have any crazy new units, but having a Soviet division, it has some pretty decent tanks. There are some divisions that do have M5 Sturge, but just the addition of light tanks that help support your T-34s is extremely nice. Is a little bit more. I mean, T-34 76s are already throwaway tanks. T-70s are extremely throwaway tanks. That's nice to have.
True. By the way, an update on the south, we do see that the Poles are across the river and are picking up enough flags that, man, we have a -2 going on here already.
Damn, that was pretty fast, yeah. I think Finzent's really breaking Evilnick's back at the moment, but we are 2 minutes out into B phase, and hopefully again Evilnick will have some reinforcements to try and stop his progress. Once again, some artillery on his end, some Run 05s or whatnot, probably be or mortars would be pretty useful in dealing with this push.
True. Now, the thing that's a little bit unfortunate here is that if you lose this hilltop, it's just as difficult to come up from the German side.
Yeah.
And while we are going to get some sniping happening here, going after from this Pak-38, like you said, T-70s are about a ruble a dozen, so...
At long range, he's not going to have a good time against 25th, as those Pak-40s and Pak-38s are pretty good anti-tank guns.
Yes, they are. Now, we are going to see a couple of jacks coming on in. One jack going to the north after the anti-tank gun, it looks like.
Yep.
Rockets away. Indeed.
Ah,
And down to the south. What was down south? Ooh, down south actually picking up a couple of kills as well.
pretty good, yeah, knocking out the IG-33s. And Finzent bringing in AT gun. And also, yeah, he's got like 2 AT guns in like the southern area to help secure the point. One's S3 and one M42. Ooh, but an ME410 AT get plane coming in. Almost kills the T-30. Well, technically it killed it, but not completely.
Technically, I mean, if you count that the vehicle doesn't technically fire anymore, then yes, I guess technically. But you know what? Even if you killed it, big stinking deal. All
Yeah,
it is one Pack 40 with 7 HE over there.
yeah. Yeah, Pack 40 finishes it off. But, yeah, Finzent's in a really good position now. Managing to push through 2 bridgeheads. Yo, yeah, and especially having that hill up north, that's such a great, fantastic defensive position to hold of Royal Strotsky.
It certainly is. Now, I always wonder why people don't edge push a little bit more on this. Like there's a Percy right now. You have to know that there's really not going to be a lot of defenses on the southern edge of the map. You might as well just push through and pick up a couple of cheeky flags.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, when you're up such a hefty amount in the first place, why bother?
Yeah, Finzent's already 15-9 over Evilnick. And he's just getting some more reinforcements to secure his southern bridgehead, or central bridgehead, I should say. And yeah, there's some tanks up north, or AT-34 up north, and infantry and an AT gun to help out, and a yak, or jack, a yak jack.
Well, there's a ton of infantry coming in, and he's completely whiffed. That could have been absolutely devastating. Luckily for the Germans, it did not hit.
Yeah. We got some, Panzergrenadiers or Panzerfaust this time, and this could go pretty badly for the Stugs. At range, not too hard to knock out. Panzergrenadiers moving through. Could this be enough for Evilnick to maybe push back? I don't know.
Well, the infantry assault has already pretty much bogged down.
Yeah, he has them a little bit too close together. Really need to spread out stuff out a little bit.
And the stroke in the southern side of that little town has completely fallen as well. Yikes, that was rough. A bit of a furball to up in the air. One yak being gone after by an ME-109. But, no. Yeah, losses that are being taken, but nothing really too unrecoverable, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, this northern push, the Slugs are still alive. The infantry are pretty much gone. And yeah, I mean, the Strotsky are sort of suppressing the Stugs, but not really enough to get any crazy kills, just some critical hits here and there.
But once again, you don't need to. I mean, 16-9, and they hold what essentially is the fortress of this map.
That's such a good position on it. Hell, once again, Evilnick, you really should try to get some artillery out, because if he would have brought out, get one less Stug and got an artillery, like a mortar piece to help soften up the infantry before going across it up the hill, he probably would have had a bit of a better shot and actually gaining a foothold back on that hill.
Well, as it is, right now, if you look down to the south, the bridgehead is getting bigger and bigger.
Oof.
And while we have 2 Stokes being brought on in to try to arrest some of that bleeding, it's a tall order for 2 assault guns.
He has no recon, he has no infantry. He really seems to get an infantry in that, church flag right in the center just to cap that. Because he's losing all that ground just because he literally doesn't have any units. And he is actually going to be doing that, getting 2 Panzergrenadiers to defend that area. 2 Panzergrenadiers or 2 Pioneers down south to defend that area.
But that's all he's got on the southern side. He's got an anti-tank. Oh no, not even. He's just a field gun.
Yeah. Very big field gun.
Kind of amusing to the north. We had ME-410 making ground runs and definitely doing a hefty amount of damage. But the only thing that was even pushing back was a yak with 40 rounds of machine gun ammo. No cannon, no nothing. So he was completely helpless there.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Stuck on the hill and up north is still holding. but not for long it seems.
It is, but there's also a couple of Su-85s coming in as well.
Oh yeah, they do get SR-85s. Those are going to be pretty useful because that's the most heavily armed thing you can get, I believe, for the pose.
Oh my gosh, the strokes coming in. There is an M42 looking down that road. Oh my god, that's a beautiful position.
That's sneaky. Extremely sneaky. You're going to have a little bit of time penetrating the slugs, but once again, critical hits is all that matters.
Heck, I would have been happier if you started to engage some of that infantry, but
Mm-hmm.
I guess when needs must.
I do think AT gun might go down. The slugs are returning fire. Yeah. It doesn't kill any of the slugs, which is good for Evilnick. There's some critical hits here and there. And with all this infantry coming in this central area, I think it's might be enough to take that back. I mean, we still have that annoying T-70 down south and the BA-10.
Completely disagree. There's still two more anti-tank guns, one of which is
Oh
a
yeah,
ZIS. And then you have the Dushka over there, so
yeah.
it's not a ton, but it's just enough suppression that's going to cause a lot of issues. And you can just see it right now. The Russians are just threatening to engulf the northern side.
Oh, look, is he gonna I think he's gonna surround that hill. He's got only like 2 Panzer Grenadiers up here, and now they are surrounded. That's not a good thing at all.
That's certainly the case. The SPW is going to cause a little bit of an issue until, I was going to say until the anti-tank gun's able to.
Really close to knocking them out. Oh, look, here was rocket runs. Yeah, those Panzer Grenadiers completely pinned down. They're going to be forced to flee.
Right into a flamethrower.
Which is not like a good place to, run away to.
Yeah, I mean, there are much gentler vacation spots. He's really got to talk to his travel agent.
Mm-hmm.
And he does give the white flag. He realizes there are better deals out there for him. Meanwhile, down to the south, a BA-10 took a anti-tank run, which is nice, but at what cost?
Yeah. We got 2 more slugs being brought in down south from Evilnick. Once again, Evilnick really could use of artillery more than anything at the moment. Not really tanks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And with that's 19.5, yes, another anti-tank gun does get taken out. But how much time has he spent trying to crack this, rinky-dink position?
Mm-hmm. And now, as we've seen, with Finzent managing to push even further up north and pretty much capture that entire hillside and the area south of it, that's going to be another area that Evilnick has to now try and push through. And that's not a fun area to fight at all. It's way too many forests.
No, that will not be fun at all.
Oh.
Plus the Su-85, if he moves that thing, I don't know, maybe 300 meters to the left, he has a beautiful shot looking down that roadside.
Oh yeah, cool stug. But the ME410 is going to not counter that. Only gets tracks broken on the Su-85, and the Yak is coming in to attack.
Really great setup, though, for these gun runs.
Mm-hmm. But not getting any kills here, unfortunately. Pretty unlucky with the ME410.
And unfortunately, he's not turning to flee. Might be enough. Rudder damaged. He's dead. Okay.
He's dead. That's a pretty big loss, yeah.
So even if the Yak goes down, big deal.
You got plenty of him. Messerschmitt 109 gets a lovely turn on the first Yak. He's going after the second. I don't think Yak run. He only has 30 cannon rounds and 19 machine guns, so probably not going to be enough to shoot down the Messerschmitt.
Highly unlikely.
But unless there's another run. When there's one Yak, there's 2. When there's 2, there's 3.
Yep, they keep dividing and selling. That's how you do it, I suppose. I have 0 anti-air.
Same.
I mean, outside the Dushkas, but big deal. To the north, yep, that hillside is a fortress. You're not breaking through that. Down south, we see a last throw, maybe 3 Panzer Grenadiers, another Martyr with the star. But even if you take that back, who cares? That's 2 flags, maybe 2 flags.
I think Evilnick's best bet is probably try to just push heavy down south and capture Finzent's hill. Because if you... There's nothing much here at the moment. You do see two T-34s being brought in, but with the Stugs at range, the Stugs should have a pretty easy time dealing with them. If he can push heavy down south, capture the hill, it's pretty good open ground territory, which is much more beneficial for 25th. And this whole southern flank is really exposed now compared to the north.
At least for now, we have 4 more squads of infantry being brought into the center to kind of rupture that a bit. And it is theoretically possible. We actually have this one brave lone Panzer Grenadier coming across that bridge. Poor sod. And meanwhile, the Germans to the north are sending in a couple of trucks, a couple of anti-tank guns, and maybe shore up the north. No, going way the heck down south. So I think he heard you, Rang.
Yeah, I think he's completely abandoning the north side, which honestly I don't blame him at that point. It's going to be way too bloody to push through. But it is only 14:10 right now, so Evilnick has brought himself 5 minutes. So we hope he can make that 5 minutes work. And yeah, he's doing that southern push.
That's true, but he is strung out on this bridge. The only thing that's lucky for him right now is that T-34s are not engaging the bridge instead.
If he can knock out both those T-34s, he has a really good shot at getting that hill. And that's exactly what he's doing. Those T-34s are a little bit distracted with some infantry targets, and the Stugs are just going to sneak up right on there.
This is the point where I take the anti-tank planes and I just rocket that entire thing into oblivion.
Yeah.
They actually should be off cooldown, I would think. I'm a little surprised if I'm not seeing that immediately.
One T-34 down.
Last spiteful shot from the other one, maybe? Nope.
There we go. A little bit closer for the Stugs, but that's gonna be enough to deal with the Russian armored threat. And Finzent, he's not even sending really any reinforcements down south. He's actually sending most of his stuff to the mid.
Yeah, but I guess I can kind of see that.
He's trying to rupture that bridgehead, that small bridgehead that Evilnick has made of his Panzer Grenadiers. Right, Evilnick, he's just throwing everything down south. He's got 2 Pak 38s going here, which would be a great position on the hill.
Well, he's bringing more. Yeah, I think he watched The Matrix and he was like, I'm like Agent Smith right now. He's just tossing everything he's got into that one spot. And he's done it. He definitely has ruptured it, but he's got only about 65 seconds to enjoy that.
Yep, he's lost some flags up north, which is not going to be beneficial at all. He can capture 2 flags down south here pretty quickly, but even then, with such small point bleed, it's not going to be enough time, I think.
Well, certainly not if the Poles decide to come across down off of that. It is entirely a potential thing to be happening here.
Yeah. Yeah, Evilnick really doesn't have the time. I do like seeing him actually doing this, not just giving up, and that was a really well done southern push. That's exactly what he needed to do. Hit Finzent's reek side, but it came a little bit too late, it seems.
True, and here's now the ground attack planes to just start stressing everything out.
And they're all pretty close together. So that's not going to be good. The first one was pretty mediocre.
But like we continue to say, though, as long as you retard the initial progress, who cares?
Just slow him down.
Exactly. I think I'm more amused by the fact there's this one P-Grunt squad who's just been pinned down for a little taking shots, getting fired up by literally 6 or 7 squads of infantry. Poor guys.
We've got a 410 bomber plane coming in. It's gonna be enough to deal with that one Sapori squad. Just not gonna be enough time, for Evilnick. He needs 2 flags for his control, and he can only really capture, or he can't really capture any at the moment in 20 seconds.
No, that would be highly unlikely. In fact, we are going to see his strokes down to the south, I think, might both get taken out. Yep. And yes, these T-34Es are very undergunned for the theater, but don't let that fool you. They still are deadly, even if it's in their own way.
Like I said, of this map, of how close range it is, those T-34s and T-70s are really good. And that's going to be a GG. Pretty close in kills.
You know, it's kind of nice. I mean, at the Poles, they don't have quite the same oomph that their SD-44 counterparts have.
Hmm.
Um, but it's certainly a plucky division. It kind of reminds me almost
Yeah,
like a second Blindé. Slightly, slightly.
yeah, kind of. It's like a lot more like light armor and like good infantry, but
Hmm.
a lot less like mechanized and more just his like 20 Strochki Swords just push forward slowly, and we got some T-70s backing you up.
That does seem pretty accurate. We do see I
Hmm.
have one stroke that's got about 4 or 5 kills. We have another stroke that's got some, ground kills, but who cares about the infantry?
Yep.
Um, Unfortunately, though, like you said, I don't see nearly any artillery on here.
Yeah, it was a real. Both sides really could have benefited with artillery, especially on Bobble with how close quarters
Yes,
everything is. It's really
yes.
nice to have some indirect explosives to convince the other side to maybe not go into particular sectors.
I humbly agree with your wisdom.
Hmm.
But with that in mind, it does seem a little bit open and shut at this point, which I guess means it's time for us to go.
Yep.
All right, well, folks, we'll see you all next time. Until then, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.